LinkedIn. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Ed. On today's show, we have the incredible Beverly Lockett. Then we have coming up at about 5 to 11, Mr. David McKenna, followed by Mr. Roy Upperton. Fantastic. Let's just hit this button, Ed, and let's see your lovely face. There it is.
How are you, sir?
All right, and you?
I've got my top on, but it's down there. But I've got to do that to make it work.
Top on too.
That's good.
Oh dear.
Sometimes we designed them for Zoom. Look at this. Boop, up it goes.
That's it. Very good. Well,
busy in the club at present.
It is very busy. It's been very buoyant. The club's been getting full up with people again, which is great, and plenty of people attending meetings and plenty of people joining. So I think, Ed, it might be time to welcome our new members of the club.
I think that might be a really good idea. Shall I start?
Yeah, let me hit this button, and then you okay, so get ready.
Okay, I'd like to welcome Louise Whedon to Cobra Jurassic. So welcome, Louise.
Fantastic. Then I'd like to welcome Jane Smith from Uber Services. Great to have you on board, Jane.
And Matthew Pinto Chilcott. So welcome from Cobra Live.
Fantastic. And then we have Satya Moraji up in Cobra RWB.
Fantastic. And John Betton, who's joined us into Cobra Insight, up the top of Snowdon there.
Fantastic. Then we have Mr. Matthew Huggett, who's joined Quest West in Bristol.
Oh, Quest West has been busy. We've got Mr. Tom Bassett, who's also joined Quest West.
And then last but not least, Mr. Luke Hill from, once again, Quest West in Bristol. So a big Bristol contingency coming in at the moment, which is great.
Fantastic. Miss Judith West has been working hard.
She has indeed. So, Ed, plenty going on, but I think it's probably time because we've got a couple of visitors sat down in the green room, actually.
Really? Wait,
yeah.
Put the olives down. They're mine.
So, I was going to say, if you're watching out there on LinkedIn, just put some comments in, give us who you are. We'll give you a shout out like we always do. But yeah, I think it's time, and I hope I'm going to see a curtain. I'm not sure if we're going to see a curtain today. I want to see that magic happen.
A curtain?
Yeah.
I'm excited now.
Sure
I like the hat collection. I'm going to suggest a few alternative hats for the collection on the wall. I'm thinking maybe like a fez. Look good. David would look good in a fez.
I think he would. So what we're going to do, we're going to play VT, and when we come back, they will be straight in with us. So here we go.
Excellent. It's like magic. It's Scotch for me already. It's great.
By the way, I do have a fez.
Oh, put it on the wall. Chip in the wall with that.
Should have brought it along.
And a tiara.
Definitely have a tiara, but we do have a bust. There you go. There's a bust as well.
Oh, I like the bust. That's what I'm good.
Yeah, this is my end of the office. This is the the classy end of the office.
Slightly less barking man.
David's is just bonkers.
Right. Well, that's what you need in your life, isn't it? Everyone needs a bit.
Well, wherever you lay your hat is your home, or Paul Young would say. So obviously that's your home.
And you're mentioning the curtain.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not. There's no background, but we have a curtain.
I like it when the background sort of floats in on it. I like that. Your virtual background.
Look, David's got one that end at his end, so we do have a curtain at either end. It's having a
Wow.
purpose-built office. You see, you can do whatever you want.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Absolutely love it.
I want one.
I'll go.
I also have, just in case, a rhinoceros.
Oh, I like him. He's a
Right.
I do like
The
him.
reason why I have a rhinoceros, David bought this for me about 25 years ago after reading a book called Rhinoceros Success. Because you have to go like a rhino and stop.
Charge, no thick skin.
Charge like the rhino and have a quick, thick skin and just keep going.
Yeah, thick skin. I can relate to that.
There's an Aesop tale about the rhinoceros, isn't it? He takes he unbuttons his suit to go swimming, and I think a monkey puts cookie crumbs inside, and because he scratched all the buttons off, and that's why he's got his records. Something like that. I'm sure someone will correct me on Aesop fables, but good old Roger Gifford.
Anyhow, guys, thanks for coming on the show today, and great to have you here. So what we normally do, you've been on before, haven't you, Beverly?
Not on a gritty business show, no.
Oh, right, okay. So what the normal format of the show is, we start by just asking you a bit about your background, what you sort of, your journey to where you've come, including the rhino story if you wish, to where you are now, and then leading up to, I guess we're going to talk about Red Door Homes today. Are we talking about that?
Yeah, Red Door Homes and the Business Academy. We've got several businesses, so just like all good entrepreneurs, you never just stick with one, do you? You always have several on the go. Yeah.
So yeah, just a little bit of background leading up to today's.
To where we are now.
You're going to have to do a joint background there. It's going to have to be a clever joint sort of.
Yeah.
David and Beverly background.
We've been together for 31 years, which is
Seems a lot longer somehow.
We were very, very young when we got together.
No, we weren't. We're very old now.
But so I was working. I was a PA. I was working all over the place. We moved to London. David worked for a very small company called AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraph. He was in the corporate world. He brought 0800 numbers to the country 6 months earlier than everybody thought. So you can blame David for that.
Yes.
0800 numbers.
We love an 0800 number.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was David. They asked him who would like to take voluntary redundancy, and your hand went.
Yeah, but that was when I was working for NT Hell. This was the .com boom after I'd been through working for 5 companies, sat at the same desk. NT Hell was an interesting company to work for. And I took voluntary redundancy and moved out to work for myself. And haven't worked for anybody else since. Yeah.
I decided that I'd really like to be a teacher. So I went back to university and I topped my HND up to a degree. And this is where the rhino comes in, because it was the first time that I thought, sod this, I'm going to do this. My lecturer in the induction said, you will never get a first because nobody that does a degree part-time gets a first. And I went, no, I won't. So I got first. And while I was doing my degree, I was also doing my PGCE, teaching. Had 2 children under 6, and David got made redundant in the middle of it, and I still got a first.
Yeah,
so I don't ever do things by half.
No, absolutely. And she takes about 2 seconds in every time we talk to her to mention that I only got a 2-1 in my physics and maths degree, although obviously mine was a sensible degree, and a difficult one.
Yeah.
But mainly because I was drinking alcohol at the time, because I was 18 when I was doing my degree up in Sheffield. But physics, maths, and computer was my degree, and played an awful lot of cricket, played an awful lot of hockey, thoroughly enjoyed myself.
So we come at businesses from very different angles. So I was a business lecturer, and I taught from A levels all the way up to postgrad. I taught teachers. I've got a master's in education. I've written online courses for universities. I've authored online stuff for Hodder Education. I'm a non-executive director. I've done an awful lot in education and around the peripheries of education. And David
I was an accountant. I did some adding up and some taking away.
David was a management consultant, and we bought a dry cleaners, and he really liked the numbers. I don't know why we didn't figure this out. Yeah. And he decided to requalify as an accountant. So we've both had that sort of requalifying.
Sorry, can I just stop you for a second? You bought a dry cleaners.
No, we bought a laundrette. We bought a laundrette to start with, and then we bought a dry cleaner.
It's a long story.
But the great thing about laundrettes is people walk into them, put money in the box, and then go away, and then you go and empty the box, and it's cash. It's if you can get one that's up and running, they're a great little business. Just generate cash without, and you get somebody else in to run them. So it's a really passive income business, which is fabulous. So, yeah.
It's just one of those conversations you have with people. During a conversation, they just go, "Yeah, we bought a laundrette," and then they carry on talking. It's just wonderful.
The real thing is we
bought it on a credit
that was
card.
our first business that we bought. We bought it on a credit card.
No,
Cool.
Yeah.
that is very cool.
Well,
Bought it on a
yeah,
credit card and then paid that debt off over a couple of months with the profit, or a few months with the profit. And
it just threw off money. It was a nice little business.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So David was an accountant, and he really, we've always been really interested in property, but I've never really had a strong enough voice, believe it or not, for me to go, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And David is a little bit of an over-analytical person. He likes to analyse
I don't
everything.
know where that came from.
So we never really got started in property, and then David decided that he wanted to really do it as a side hustle. So he got into property, and within 6 months, it was like, well, we might as well sell the practice.
The
So
income
we
from the
sold
service
practice.
accommodation was hadn't quite, but it was heading in the direction of overtaking my accountancy income.
That's amazing.
I thought, sod it, right? Well, it was actually we were on holiday. I had a large glass of pastis. Beverly had a bottle of wine and a glass in her hand, and we said, "What do we do with the accountancy practice?" And it took Beverly about a nanosecond to say, "Sell it, get rid of it," because Beverly's birthday is in January the 26th. And I don't know if you ever know any accountants at the end of January, but you don't see them. So Beverly was
We're all celebrating Beverly's birthday, obviously. Yes.
Beverly has 2 birthdays. Her official one, which is in January, and then we celebrated in February when I was actually recovering from January. So we decided to sell that. So I sold my accounting practice to another local practice, but because it was systemized, because it didn't rely on me, it was worth more. So I sold the clients and the systems out and the data out of that to a local accounting practice. They took it over, we moved full time into property.
And then what did you do during lockdown, Andrew? And I realised the other day the astonishment of this, because we wrote a book, Building Your Property Business. Now, it was actually launched on the 17th of June 2020, which was a year ago tomorrow. So I will be doing a big post about it tomorrow. But what I'd written 10,000 words as a free giveaway, because we'd sort of come up with this idea for the Business Academy, but I'd not really done anything with it. Then lockdown happened. We had both of our children moved out of where they were. So one moved down to Chichester, but he had a flat up here and we had to empty it. One moved from his university in Bath up to here and we had to empty him out. We got rid of 2 service accommodation flats, so we had everything from that. Our house was like full up to here. We had COVID. Our service accommodation business virtually collapsed because we had to give 20 grand's worth of refunds overnight. The HMO business was like, oh my God. And during all of that, I wrote the book up to 30,000 words, got it marketed, got it edited, got it proofread, and became Amazon #1 bestseller on the 17th of June. Another moment.
That is amazing. Will you put the details of that in the chat?
It's only when you're a year away and you go, oh my God, did I really do that?
We love to introduce that.
Yeah,
Might as well.
Beverly Lockett, #1 best-selling Amazon author. It's brilliant. We just love it. We just think it's brilliant.
But David's name is on the book as well.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, we don't mention you, David. Sorry.
I just
Beverly
fed Beverly with gin during the process, so that was fine.
I think
So every time I've just gone for it like a rhino, I've just achieved massive things.
Yeah.
So now in our property business, I have a real voice, which has been quite phenomenal because it's one of the changes of working with a business coach. We worked with a business coach who could give me that voice so that I could then charge like a rhino and pull David along.
I have to say, it absolutely transformed our business. When I was running it, I am exactly the wrong person to be running our business because I'm over analytical, because I'm the details guy, because I'm the systems guy. Those are more important. So if it was left to me, we would have a business which all the numbers are fantastic in projection, the systems would be immaculate, and we wouldn't have a single customer. It would be perfect. But of course, customers just cause problems, don't they? So, but Beverly is the other side of things. And what we did was we took our business. There were 3 of us in it at the time. There was myself, Beverly, and our son William, our eldest son. And I was running it because obviously I'm the bloke, I'm the accountant, I know what I'm talking about in business. William was down here with all these ideas. He's like Tigger, bouncing around with all this enthusiasm and holding this idea of the vision of what we wanted to do. And Beverly was in the middle going, and we actually went to a coach because nothing was happening. We went to a coach and he helped us realise that we were completely the wrong way round. So we completely inverted our business, and we made William, our 20-odd-year-old son at the time, the CEO of the company. And Beverly was then in charge of helping myself and William not kill each other, because we can be like that at times. Because we're different. He is a creator, he is visionary, he comes up with those ideas, massive amounts of enthusiasm, but can never finish anything. Whereas I'm very much let's get the details right, let's make it work, let's get the systems. And Beverly is in the middle as the people person, and the sort of like a trader, if you like, making sure that what was going on up here was brought down here. As soon as we did that, our business took off, and the following 2 years put every single property in place that now we live off.
That's a dream team.
Yeah, and that's what we help people do now. We help people build their property businesses from the start, or if they've already
lovely that it's all the family as well. I mean, that's a fantastic thing to achieve.
Yeah.
You've got people. You're inspiring people out there in the wider LinkedIn world. Katrina's saying inspiring Beverly despite all the challenges. We've got the wonderful Me Now also coming back with that's great, Beverly, and shows what you can achieve with determination.
You can go right like a rhino, but in the right direction, and have a plan and an action to be able to do it, and that's what we teach people.
And we took months, literally months of standing around talking to each other about what we wanted to achieve, about creating the vision for the business before we actually achieved anything. And that was a really hard process, because what I wanted, what Beverly wanted, what William wanted wasn't necessarily the same thing, but there was a lot of commonality. And
I think that's what Andrew talks about a lot with people is you've got to have a vision. You've got to have, I'm going to get from here to here, and you've got to have a pathway to follow. And if you haven't got that pathway, you're never going to succeed. By the way, Christina D'Souza's come in and said, you guys are amazing as well. So there you go. I'm sure you got a fact. It's really important to have actually that plan in book format. How useful is that? That's just amazing. See,
yeah, absolutely. Well, we maintain that a plan which is in a book is too much of a plan. It needs to fit on one side of A4, because if you can't fit it on one side of A4, it is no longer a useful document. If you've got something which sits on one side of an A4, it's something you can follow. And that's what we do. We've got a system for doing that. We help people do that, and that it gives you the vision, your USP, your reason for doing it, your values, the company's values, all that sort of stuff.
It's all distilled down.
Absolutely, and it's a process of going from we'd love to do this, I want to be in property, to all the way down to, well, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to do this. This is how we can achieve an income, and then from that you can go, well, actually, what do I need to do tomorrow to get to where I want to be? And it's that process of then just having a long list of things that you start ticking off that makes it work. Otherwise, you're constantly trying to work out what to do next, and you end up all over the place.
So people like you, both of you, must be inspired by people out there in the greater world. So don't tell me yet. What is your inspirations? Who inspires you apart from yourselves? You're not allowed to say each other because that's just really glib. Something cool.
I am going to completely contradict you on that one because that is my answer.
I knew you were going to say that. You can't say what I know.
I am going to tell you why. When we started out with HMO business, Beverly was she was a teacher at the time, she was a lecturer, and she was really, really struggling. I don't know if anybody's been in higher education or further education, it is not a good place to be, not a good place to teach. There's a lot of problems in there. And she decided that she wanted to give up work. And what we did was we typed out her resignation letter and pinned it to the pantry door. So every day we saw Beverly's resignation letter for Star Wars Day, May the 4th, which is the day she was going to hand the notice in the next year. And we saw that. And that inspired both myself and William to work harder than we had done for anything for ourselves.
Aww. And
we achieved it. And Beverly achieved it as well. And it may sound like I'm just saying this so I get nicer lunches, but it's not true. Absolutely. Beverly has gone from, when I first met Beverly has gone from somebody who had no ambition whatsoever, it had been driven out of her, through to somebody who now I'm trying to keep up with. And it's an astonishing thing to have seen back over the 30 years. And it may sound glib and it may sound corny, but absolutely, Beverly inspires me every day.
She is an inspiration. No, she's inspiring to all of us. That's the thing. But no, and Beverly, who's your inspiration?
I don't know.
So David, because we're just going to sit here and Andy and I are just going to fold our arms.
Yeah.
He's made it really difficult for me now because I'm crying. I don't know. I take my inspiration from a lot of different places. Being an academic at heart, I read a lot of books and I just absorb information. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I just absorb information all the time. And I'm like, the Chinese proverb that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I just absorb information at different points from different places. So I can't really point to one person and go, they've really inspired me. Now, the person that wrote Rhinoceros Success is the stupidest book on the entire planet, but it has inspired so many people to do different things. Yeah. So I really like that book, and it's sort of stood out the test of time from what we've done over the years. So that book is a testament to it.
Tell me,
I'm going to cry.
Thank you very much. You weren't expecting that. I'm going to add one other thing in there, because one of the things we haven't talked about yet is our other side about the business that we're doing as well. Is we declared this decade to be our wealth creation decade. So we sat down in 2020 and said, right, by the time we get to 2030, I'll be 65. Beverly will be 21, and so we want to retire, and if not before then. And so our focus, the whole of this decade, is on creating wealth that will give us an income, a good income, so that we don't have to work into a sensibly, reasonably early retirement. So everything we're doing, or I'm doing, is focused on investments and looking at investments, stock market, forex trading, even, just generating income which we can create further income from. And one of the guys who I've come across, an American chap called Ray Dalio, and Ray Dalio talks an awful lot of sense. And he's got it's a great video. If you search out Ray Dalio, Dallio, I think it is, which talks about how the economy works, and it's eye-opening, well worth watching. It's on YouTube, so go and have a look at that. But he's a guy that's made me go, ooh, that's interesting, that's achievable. So
that sounds really cool. We're Ray Dalio, and just while the two of you are here, Barry Hunt says he's waiting to hear about beagles.
Well, I do have two.
1.5.
Well, 1.5. Yes.
One is
Well, one is the runt of the litter, and she is tiny. She is possibly the smallest beagle in the country. She is absolutely tiny.
She's also got the face only a mother could love. So she's
she's like a Jack Russell, but she is tiny.
And she's fast asleep down here, snoring. I had to giggle. Sorry, Barry. I didn't mean to be rude. Don't be upset.
So listen, guys, thank you so much for coming along. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you on. If people want to find out more about you guys and more about sort of the depth of what you do, where's the best place for them to look? How do they find out about all the different things that you do and
Best
how to
place to
get
just connect with me on LinkedIn. I've got a shed load of connections. I'm happy to share my connections and introduce people. So just come and connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can find you.
Yeah, either of us. So we're both on LinkedIn. David Lockett, and both just under our name.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And if anybody's interested in looking at our properties, if you go onto the website you just put up, you can walk around them. There is a VR, a virtual tool, and you can walk around them and see what they're like. They're very unusual. They've got a very lot of character.
Yeah, it's a bit like Google Maps,
as you would expect.
So you can walk around like.
And your reputation is just fantastic in the industry. So many people, just love what you guys do, and the standards you have are just amazing. Just if only everybody could do what you guys do, because it's game changing.
Yeah. There's a lot of our friends whose kids are now old enough to go into our shared houses, but they're not in the right area, and so they're looking at shared houses and they're like, "Can you not do this where we need you? Because the shared houses are so awful."
By the end of the decade, every other door will be a red door. Is that what we're thinking?
Yes.
We confuse people like that because
the properties don't actually have red doors.
Our second property we took on in the centre of Gloucester, our photographer is a chap I've known since I was 4, a lovely guy, and he came along, he took our photographs. He said, "Oh, you're called Red Door," and he said, "Yeah, we're going to get the front door painted red." And he said, "Well, even though we're taking the picture of the blue front door, I can change the door to red on the pictures." I said, fabulous.
Right,
And then our builder buggered off and did something else, and we never got the door painted red. So these people see a picture like that. So they're walking up and down the street looking for a red door, and it's not, it's blue. And it's, so we need to do
it is quite a bit of logic in there. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. It's been absolutely inspirational to meet you both. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting us.
Guys.
See you soon.
We'll be meeting Mr. David McKenna. So let's hit this space and then let's meet Dave when we come back. So go.
Hello, David. How are you?
Hello, David.
Hi there, guys, and thank you very, very much for getting me on this morning. It's not often people actually volunteer to listen to me, but there we go.
Great to have you on board. Great to see you, David.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm assuming you're going to ask me similar questions as to.
That's it. Nice
Yeah.
Okay, all right, sorry, bye. It's nice to see one of my major influencers is obviously Beverly,
Brilliant. So, David, tell me a bit about your background, your upbringing, what you've done in the past, leading to AdaWorks. Is that how you pronounce it?
AdaWorks, yeah, AdaWorks is fine. It's actually named after Ada Lovelace, so it's actually named after a person. Her name is Ada. Right, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure she won't really mind if you call her Ada. No, background, very, very strange. I came from a long line of quite innovative engineers. My father actually built a television with valves and wires hanging out of it for the coronation. All those in 1953, they were the only people in the suburb of Glasgow, and I'm making it very posh by calling it a suburb of Glasgow. And they were the only people with a television, so everybody came round to watch the coronation of my dad's wiry TV. The bizarre part about that is I actually learned how to solder before I learned how to read and write. So that kind of shows you my background. And also, I'm a technologist. We do software. And a lot of people with my colour of hair are not known for doing software. But I built my first computer when I was 7 or 8. So in those days, you couldn't buy a computer. You could mail order the parts, and sometimes you could get a kit. But that's where we came from. And it's all a bit strange because I was an electronic engineer for years. I worked for Thorn EMI, and I then left, and I did it the other way around. I went to work, then went to university. And it's always I'm always that kind of topsy-turvy way of doing things.
Yep.
My mother and father always used to say, "You're contrary." And I'm not sure if that was a compliment or not. But I've always got to look at it, everything from that rather askew kind of point of view. Somebody did a bio for me for one of the companies, and I don't think you can do your bio yourself. You've got to get someone else to do it. And what
That's very true.
Well, what they said was if you cut David in half, all the way through it, like Blackpool Rock, it will say process. I'm what we call process obsessed. It's to the point of it works. I see processes everywhere, you know. I see dead people, you know, I see processes, and it just cannot work for
It's a
me.
brilliant skill set to have.
It's probably down to, and I don't mind opening up about this, I have Asperger's. So everything I have is a learned behaviour. So that's why processes are so simple for me, you know, because I just look at what the problem is and I can see the learned behaviour. And I can see usually where it goes wrong. So one of the reasons we came to Aidalux, and we shockingly realised the other day that this product is now over 10 years in development. You know,
Wow.
we should have made
That's
it
a long
right.
time. Yeah, that's a long time, isn't it?
It is indeed. The main thing is, it's such a complex thing to do. We've been trying to do it simply. And that simplification of something so complex takes a long time. You know, and I think that's the main reason it's taken us so long. And the other reason was that we were trying to do that classic technical thing of I can solve every problem. And we made some mistakes with that, right? So that's why we productized into like property management and fixed price delivery for the couriers.
Are they the main areas that Aidalux, is that where Aidalux focuses on?
Yes, Aidalux is the business process automation engine, right?
Okay.
And what happens is when we look at the multiple role scenarios, you've then got everything from operations to manufacturing, health and safety, and all these kind of things. And what we're focusing on is the property and the Uber for couriers. So what that is, though, is it's exactly the same product, right? I don't mind admitting, there is no new product, okay? So let me just explain, and I don't know if anybody's ever came across like this to you. There are three types of software. Okay? There's the one you buy off the shelf, which you shoehorn into your business. That's usually called Excel. Right? There's another one you can buy where you get it made for you. It's absolutely wonderful. And it slots perfectly into what you're doing right now if they get it right. Now that is wonderful. It becomes expensive if you want to change it, but it's wonderful. Okay? And where we sit is somewhere in the middle. It's an off-the-shelf product which actually does nothing. So what we do is we then tell it that not using code. We are what we call a no-code engine. So it's really configurable. So what we do is we sit down with people, work out where they are, where they want to be, and then we implement it. It was interesting that David, in the last chat, said that his accountancy business was worth more because he had systems in place. Systems, I believe, processes, same thing for me, right? So what that means is it actually adds value to your business. And I was so pleased when David said that in the last chat, because people just think that when they sell their business, they're going to sell and it's going to give them millions. They don't realise if they've not systemised, if they've not put processes in place, they are stuck with that business even after they sell it. Right, so you've got that horrible 2-year buyout period where your heart's not in it, they hate you, you hate them, and we've all seen it. So that's why I think a lot of these really high-end guys ask about exit strategy. So if you know what your exit strategy is, work towards it. You know, I've sold a couple of businesses. One of the previous gigs, we invented the world's first VoIP enterprise class call recorder. We actually launched that in a business in Nottingham. I've always got to stay up north somehow. And we managed to sell that in 92 countries around the world. Right?
That's impressive. Very impressive.
92. I didn't even know there was 92 countries until I visited those 92 countries. And there's actually more.
That's really
Once you
impressive.
hit sub-Saharan Africa, man, you know you're traveling. I have literally been on the plane with the chickens running up and down, right? It's an experience, shall I say. So, realistically, yeah, from being a kid and soldering all the way through, the previous gigs that I did were for airlines, right? I did a lot of what we call safety management systems.
Okay.
And what we did with them was, again, one of the whys for AdaWorks. What we were doing is we were using high-end tier 1 software, right? And we were talking about SAP, Oracle, all these kind of guys. And what I found myself doing was saying to the customer, no, you don't do it like that. You must do it like this. And I suddenly sat one day and I went, why am I telling the customer? The customer should be telling me.
Yep.
That is one of the entire building blocks, the DNA of AdaWorks. We literally listen to what they do and then implement the system around them.
Yeah, it's basically selling, isn't it? Ask, don't tell.
Yes, absolutely. Solve, don't sell. Right? Ask, don't tell, solve, don't sell.
Christina's agreeing with you. She says systems help businesses grow and get better.
Of course they do.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
There's a limitation, though. What we need to always be careful of is if you are making a business decision based upon the capabilities of your systems, then your systems are wrong. I've actually met people who say, I would love to go for that business, but my back end can't handle it, and the communications can't handle it. You know, we would fall over. So that's actually restricting you, which is why, again, we've got this flexibility within AdaWorks that to add stages, you use this wonderful thing called the English language, right? You don't get consultants in and then have 10 grand worth of code a day. No, let's not do that. Let's think about it differently. So that's where we're coming from. And I hope that makes sense, guys.
That makes perfect sense. Absolutely perfect sense. And it's so important in business. Andrew spends most of his life taking people back, looking at the system, stripping it bare, seeing the end goal, and then producing a plan to get from there to move forwards. It's
I'll
business.
tell you a brief story. 3 or 4 years ago now, a chap in a precision engineering business in Newcastle got in touch with me and he said, I haven't had a holiday in 30 years. And I went, oh, wow, okay. And the reason was, there were things in his head. Right? So somebody comes in, he does the estimation, he says, you know, X amount of that, I'll build a bill of materials, and I'll say 4 hours with that guy in that machine, 10 hours with that guy in that machine, blah, blah, blah. He works out the price, and the job comes in and he does the same thing, but for production. So he sat me down and he says, can you help? I said, yes. What we did was we got lots of post-it notes out, and we got his wall, and we built his process, because that's what I do, because I'm process obsessed. I'm an anteater. I snuffle around with my big nose and I find out what's going on. Built his process for him in the wall. And then he says, great, can I buy your software? I said, no. You can't go from all in your head to an all singing, all dancing, automated system. But I said to him, this means that you can hand over this part of the business. I'm pointing to the wall, by the way, which you can't see, and it's also a drawn wall. I think then, pointed at him, and 6 months later, he phoned me, and he said, my wife loves you. And I thought, oh my God, what have I done? He says, no. I said, I've never met your wife. He says, I know, but we're on holiday, right? So sometimes, guys, it's not about the money sometimes.
No, that's brilliant. That's lovely to hear. Now listen, I think a man as process-driven as you has many secret talents that he hides under a bushel. So, in a second, I'm going to ask you what your secret talent is. So, David McKenna, live on LinkedIn. and the whole world, what's your secret tap?
Well, I play the guitar, but that's not that secret.
Wow.
The one that nobody
I'm in
knows
hallowed
about.
ground here because Andrew plays the guitar too, so the two of you should jam.
Yeah.
Well, originally, I was a bass player, but I decided to get an extra couple of strings. No, the bizarre one that nobody knows about is that for many years I actually made pots.
Pots?
Pots.
Like a potter?
Potter's wheel.
Oh, awesome.
And I'll tell you something. There's a brilliant business lesson in pottery, right? What you do is you throw your first 50 pots, and no matter how good they are, you throw them all back in the slot. No matter how good they are, right? Because your first 50 are your apprenticeship, that's you starting. You don't actually start making mistakes until pot 51.
Okay.
And I think it's a great business lesson because everybody wants to be an overnight success, right? And some people are, but that's luck. Right?
Yeah.
If you're an overnight success, it's luck. So where I come from, you throw your first 50 pots back in the slot.
And Reese has come through, and he's saying good morning, everyone, and some sort of foreign language before. I'm guessing that's Welsh. We're international here, so we're getting all the devolved nations into one space.
Yeah, live here on LinkedIn.
Live.
Just quickly, David, we're running out of time, but what's the plan? What's the plans for like the next sort of 6 months to a year? Is it just carrying on with Ada Works and getting more of the property sort of softwares out in the marketplace?
Well, the Uber for Couriers one runs itself, right? So we've got 500 couriers on there and literally nobody touches it. So what we want to be able to do is get another business similar to that. We haven't decided what yet. But what we need to do is just silo the business. And I know everybody says don't do this, but they're not coming from our kind of odd background. We have to create silos because people don't understand what we're doing. And it's not their fault, it's us for not explaining it well. So we've already got the property one. We're probably going to, thanks Reese, we're probably going to look towards HR because I've looked at a lot of HR software and it tends to be like £3 a month per employee.
Yep.
So he's sitting there with 600 employees. That's the kind of business I want. So it's really easy for me to rebuild an HR process. I just don't know anybody that does it yet. But that's neither here nor there. So the plans are one further diversification in the next 6 months. That's it, just one. Because again, it's the same product. So from a support point of view, it's really easy. But anyway, thanks very much for your opportunity to talk, guys.
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh,
Thank you.
Have to have you on.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Right, okay.
People want to get in touch with you. Best way, would you say?
Email, and then I'll show you, go through all the websites and all the Facebook pages. We've got about 25 different Facebook pages. We have a lead gen site called Havua. There's a million things on there, so just dmckenna@adaworks.com. Get in touch. We'll have a chat.
Fantastic.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Look, just great to hear. Great to hear. Inspirational talk. We've had two really inspirational people on today, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, David, so much. We'll see you again soon.
Look forward to it, my friend. Now, look, we've had two people come on. We've had Beverly and David, well, three people, I suppose. Beverly and David as one person, and we've had David as the other. And if you use David's pot analogy and Beverly's analogy of giving up her work and actually making a decision to do something, there's a guy called Thomas Edison. He invented the light bulb. And one of the quotes that he said was, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is to always try just one more time." So you come across a problem, you can choose, you make a decision, you either stop or you carry on. So I would say that you need to carry on. And sometimes that's using people around you to be able to do that. So sometimes you're absolutely right. Definition of madness: keep doing the same thing, keep getting the same result. But actually, if you know the end goal, you have the vision, because Beverly and David have a vision. David McKenna has a vision. This is what we want to achieve. We need a process to get to there. If the process isn't working, use people around you to find that process. So be that David Beverly, be that David, who to actually structure a system for you, be that Mr. Andrew Hatcher to sit down and sort of coach you through the process. But the end vision's correct. The fact that you don't know how to get there isn't a reason for giving up. You've got to stand back up and kind of carry on. So that's my wondrous words of wisdom for today.
Wondrous words, Ed. Appreciate those. I'll remember those. That's a good one. I like that one.
Always useful. But there's also that time of the day where we need to reflect back over the people in the club, and we've got so many just inspirational people in the club. But who is our hero of the week, Andrew?
All right. Okay, pretty simple this week. My hero of the week is Marie-Noelle Swiderski. Marie-Noelle was on last week, and I've just seen like an explosion of activity around her business. And in terms of someone going for it, making a difference, it's just like what Beverly was talking about earlier, the whole Rhino thing. It's just like charging ahead and making big sort of moves. I take my hat off to her and say, she's all over it. She's all over social. She's over Cobra Club. She's doing all sorts of stuff to promote her CBD business. And
she knows the product, doesn't she? Inside out. Just lovely to see that.
But I was just seeing this, slow but steady, and then it's ramping up, and then this final sort of thing she's doing is like, you think it's going, but actually the rest is sort of happening now. And take my hat off to her. It takes a lot of work to build up that campaign, and I hope she gets some great results, because she's certainly sort of out there doing it. Basically.
Yeah, I think we should take a leaf out of Beverly and David's book and have several hats on our wall, so that we can take our hat off quite often.
Yeah, absolutely, Ed. Absolutely. But it's all good. It's all good. Okay, Ed. I think it probably is time. Let's go through. Should we go through the weekly events?
Oh, weekly events. We like weekly events. Let's do it.
Okay. There might be a couple in here that changed, but we'll call them out. And we'll just run through them as we go. So here we go.
Well, you can start Monday off on Monday morning with Monday Motivation with me. That's between 9 and 10. Come to me. Let's fill your diary full of appointments for the following week.
Fantastic. And this one we're going to play off of it because Ellen's going back to school. So we wish Ellen all the best going back to school and being a nutrition teacher.
And then you can pop along to Christie's Virtual Coffee Club and have a cup of coffee and a nice relax with Christy and do some really good connections, and so your business can thrive.
Fantastic. Then at 4 p.m. every Monday, Hannah Matarazzo with Cobra Creative. Creating relationships, creating growth. It's awesome meeting that one.
Then Monday evening, you can throw everything caution to the wind, and you can go up to Monday Mayhem up in Birmingham, 7:30 to 8:30. Spin the wheel with Zafran Carr.
Fantastic. And then once you finish spinning, you can get down to Quest West in Bristol with the lovely Judy Quest. That is every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m.
And then join the awesome Tantalising Taylor for Tantalising Tuesdays, which is on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock.
Fantastic. Then we have the incredible Victoria Woods, Cobra Office, local business network for the rest of the UK every Tuesday at 1:30.
Yeah, and then we've heard from her. Now come and meet her Wednesdays 2 till 3:30 for the Hive Mastermind. That's this afternoon, guys. Come and get involved.
Fantastic. Then it's all the way up to the top of Snowdon. I think it's got sun up there today. Normally quite cold, but weekly on Wednesdays 4 p.m. till 5:30.
And then grab a drink and join us in the evening for Meeting Talents, the mother of all network meetings, 7 till 9. It's a great network.
Fantastic. Then Mr. 25 Kids, Cobra Connect, every Thursday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Oh, and then for the main event, as Barry would call it, come to Cobra Live Cobra Live Link Up Thursdays between 1 and 2.
And we do. Then we have Mr. Chris Mason, Cobra Strike. It's a business networking event every Thursday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Based in Essex. Just a lovely guy. Come along to that one.
Yeah, and then in the morning on a Friday, we have First Thing Friday with the inspirational Louise Montblanc, 8 to 9 o'clock. Come have some fish and chips down the Jurassic Coast.
Fantastic. And straight over for a full Welsh breakfast with Mr. Shane Yates every Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Oh, and then maybe finishing soon with the Somerset Ploughman's Lunch on a Friday between 12 and 1:30. Grab a pickled egg, grab a packet of salt vinegar crisps, join James.
Fantastic. And the last one of the week, Sharon Ritchie, Wine Down Friday, every Friday, 4 p.m. till 5:30 p.m. Get you some of wine, or whatever your tipple is. And
I think so. Had a couple more people come through. So we've had the inspirational Yvonne Taylor, also known as Sunshine, your fairy godmother. She's saying it's a great show this morning, and Yvonne is an inspiration. So come and meet Yvonne.
Absolutely.
On Tuesdays. At 12 o'clock for tantalising Tuesdays with Yvonne Taylor. Always good food behind the thing. So donuts.
Yeah,
and
I
potato
went to
tots.
that one yesterday. It was a great event. I highly recommend that one.
And of course, you can pop along to see Mr. Zafran Khan up in Birmingham on a Monday evening. Anytime. And he's saying it's a gritty business today. Zaf, if you need help, if you need to come and talk to us.
It's always a gritty business. The whole concept of gritty business, it was about just how tough and how tenacious you've got to be, and you just got to grit your teeth sometimes and just get over all these challenges with business to just keep driving forward. Sometimes it's gritty, sometimes it's great, but just keep going. That's what it's all about. And there's some great people like David and Beverly, Ed here,
Andrew there.
Andrew here. Yeah, will help you with your business. So get in touch, guys. And whether you're looking for your processes streamlined with David, or you're looking to get into property with David and Beverly, plenty of support around. So yeah, please do get in touch especially if you're starting out in these sorts of things and you just need some inspiration.
If you just want to come and meet us, and see if we're as good as we say we are, www.thecobraclub.co.uk. Book a virtual tour, come along and have a look around for free.
Fantastic. Okay, Ed, I think it might be time to play out on the VT. So thanks, guys. Thanks once again to David McKenna, David and Beverly Lockett, everyone who's been watching. It's been an awesome show. We've had a lot of fun today, and we'll see you again soon. All right, over and out.
Now you're watching me, yeah, all eyes on me, 'cause I've been living the good life. So come fly with me into my fantasy, and we be loving the good life, good life.
I think this dream now just hit me. Why don't you just go there with me? Surfing the skies and splash in the clouds, dance in the crowds and laugh out loud. Holding your hand, unfolding a plan. Two souls in a land like gold in a pan. Float in the breeze or soak in the sea. Come go there with me where we both wanna be. Lie on the beach or fly in the streets. I'm trying to keep this vine in the reach. Putting everything I do aside, me and you approach. We can travel to the very end of the universe. You and me are meant to be divine energy. Living with no rules in a pool of serenity. Come be my fantasy, go away with me. Lock us up in a dream and throw away the keys. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. We need to rise with these new eyes. Pull the disguise off of these blue skies. Lights in the city reflect off the shoreline. When you're living this life, you want more time. Rewind the time, align planets. Ride this comet to a new dynamic. Your eyes on me, mine on you. Living the good life, we do what
Now
we
you're
want to.
watching me.